My name is Jim. I am a 386SX machine.
Hello and welcome to this edition of PC Voyage. I'm Andrew Doty.
And I'm Rainey Laviolette. This week's show will feature Bob Clemens with PC Voyage News, Tim Hamlet with Questions and Answers, and Jim Dilks with Bits and PCs.
There are many personal computer users that are content with using their old DOS 3.3. Microsoft has introduced MS-DOS 5.0, a significant upgrade. Tonight we have Bruce Oliver, Regional Representative of Microsoft Corp., to talk about MS-DOS 5.0. Hello, Bruce.
Hello. Pleasure to be here.
We know. Everyone's been using 3.3 now for at least the last couple of years. Why do people want to upgrade to 5.0?
Well, there have been a lot of new features that have been added to 5.0 that were not in 3.0 and 3.2.1 as well as 4.0. The new features added were things such as unformat and undelete, some of Central Point Software's material that we purchased, as well as other things such as a full screen editor that we're going to talk about later on, and an enhanced DOS shell.
Has there been anything built into DOS 5 to make it easier for people who are not familiar with all the commands of DOS?
Well, as a user of PCs since 1981, I've always wondered why we never had help included in our previous versions of DOS. And now help is added so that people can get to help by just typing in help or typing in the name of the command as well, and a space, / and a question mark, and they get help on that particular subject.
If someone has 1 to 2 meg of memory, would DOS 5.0 be for them?
1 to 2 megabytes of memory is a good size machine for today's applications. DOS actually is a disk operating system that monitors and takes care of 1 megabyte, 1024 bytes, and below. Actually, DOS utilizes the 640K partition, and with DOS 5.0, we've allowed people to start putting system commands up in the 640 to 1024 block, freeing up more space down below so that more larger applications and data that are DOS-based can reside down in the DOS partition.
How much memory can be freed up in the 640 to the 1 meg area? I know there are a lot of other things that are being put up there by the operating system and by the hardware. How much does actually DOS free up there?
DOS can free up a significant amount of space down below. By utilizing special commands, we can actually take some of the time-resident programs and some of the other things and move them up. Still have to keep a kernel or a small amount of information down in the DOS area so that DOS knows that something's going up above. So it frees up a lot of space.
So what you're saying is that you can end up with a lot more of your bottom 640 by loading DOS high.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you've got a large machine with 1 megabyte of memory in it, you would be remiss not to go and use the optimization for DOS and add those commands to the autoexec.bat as well as the config sys. Now that's the only thing that DOS 5.0, the upgrade, that does not do. It does not do that because there are so many machine types out there that people have to customize their own machines on their own, and it's something that you should do.
How about showing us some of the features of DOS 5?
Okay, what I thought I'd do today would be show you a little bit about the help. It's as simple as typing in help, and it brings up a list, an entire list of all of the various commands that have been added as well as changed within DOS 5.0. Some of these commands, you notice, exist from previous versions of DOS, but if you look at them, there's going to be other things that have been added brand new. One thing that comes to the top of my mind is the memory manager, which has been utilized and helps you figure out how memory is being managed by DOS, the disk operating system, so that if you have questions or problems in the future, you can use mapmem or memmap.
Left faster to control C out of it at this point.
Now the next thing that I thought I'd show you would be the DOS shell. Now, DOS shell has been in existence for about a year, year and a half in DOS 4.0, which not a lot of people have. There are about 70 million, and we've just heard as many as 90 million DOS users in the world. So DOS is not going to disappear. In DOS 4.0, there aren't that many people that upgraded to DOS 4.0. The things that people saw in DOS 4.0 that they wanted enhanced, and we enhanced for DOS 5.0, are the memory and the way DOS shell is utilized. So you can actually go and view files, and in a graphical mode, along with a mouse, click on the various drives that you have and go and launch and go into a particular file or a program or whatever and launch it directly from DOS shell. You notice that at the top of the screen we've got our disk drives that are available to us, A, B, and C. We have the capability to expand levels and branches. And if you utilize DOS shell here and you move on and you start enhancing your machine and adding memory, then you have the capability to utilize File Manager that is in Windows 3.1. So this is a great learning tool. You learn this, how to use this particular package here, and you transfer the information to the future version of Windows 3.1 if you start going to Windows. There's not a lot of relearning. The association of files and things like that are all about the same here as they are in Windows and File Manager. The new version of Windows 3.1 does many, many things very similar to this. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is some of the help that we've added to DOS shell. All of our help within all of our packages have been rewritten so that they're very, very explanatory and give people a very thorough explanation of what they're working on at that point in time. If we move to properties, we can start talking about whatever is on the screen and highlighted over here, and we can start adding things to the properties to show where the startup directory is and things like that, as well as shortcut keys which allow you to get into a file automatically by just hitting those keys.
This is sort of like a menuing system.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And this is something that people have been crying for a long time. The other main thing that has been added here that is a major enhancement to DOS 5.0 over previous versions is the task swapper. So you can actually get into several programs. Now, it's not like a windowing program where things run multitasking. In other words, things run at the same time. With DOS, only one application can run at one time. But what the DOS swapper does and the task swapper does is it allows an application to be brought into memory and then kept there as long as it's needed. And when it's not needed any longer, it is swapped out to disk or swapped out to other parts of memory. Now, as soon as you swap that out, the application becomes inactive. It is not running at the same time. Now you can run another application. This allows easy access by just toggling, much the same as you would within Windows and the windowing products, by hitting the Alt and Tab key. This would allow you to swap between one application and another. And again, I have to say that the major difference between this and a memory manager such as Windows is Windows will not, Windows manages memory and allows several products to run at the same time, and DOS does not.
Let me ask you a couple questions here. If somebody were to purchase the Microsoft DOS 5 upgrade, do they need to have DOS already loaded on their machine?
Yes, as a matter of fact, as a purchaser of a package of DOS, and as a matter of fact, this particular package right here, DOS 5.0 upgrade, you have to have a previous version of DOS on a machine, 2.11 and above, in order for you to install DOS 5.0 upgrade. Let me explain why this is needed. The only way that you can get a bootable copy of DOS is to buy a machine, and we sell DOS 5.0 to a number of hardware vendors. There's about 175 hardware vendors that we have contracts with, where they install DOS 5.0 on the machine. If you want to install DOS 5.0 on a machine that you have something like Unix or another operating system on it, you would have to go through some other channels and pick up the full version of DOS 5.0 from an OEM or a manufacturer of a hardware piece.
Well, thanks, Bruce, for stopping in and paying us a little visit.
You're welcome.
We hope you'll come back and visit us again.
Yes, I will.
Real soon.
Definitely will.
After Chip brings us the trivia question, Bob Clements will be on hand with PC Voyage News.
Here are this week's computer trivia questions. Number 1. What was the first microprocessor? And number 2. Who broke the base tube?
Have you taken the time to upgrade your system to DOS 5?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Went out first thing, bought DOS 5.0 upgrade. Definitely well worth it.
And you found it a big advantage to your PC?
Definitely lets you get some more memory down there in that 640K barrier and run some programs. Disk copies don't take quite as long.
What about you, Tim? Are you running DOS 5?
No, I'm running DOS 3.3 still.
Ew.
So
Well,
what?
I guess we're going to let you go on with questions and answers, even though you're running DOS 3.3, so.
You're starting to sound like Andy. My machine's faster than yours. Okay, well, welcome to PC Voyage's Questions and Answers. Today our questions deal with the config.sys file. The config.sys file is read by the computer when it boots up, and it tells the computer how your machine is set up, how many files you can have open, how many data buffers, and device drivers that can extend your system are just a few of the things that the config.sys file contains. The last statement I just said about the device drivers brings us to our first question. What is a device driver, and how do you load it into your machine? Well, a device is a generic term for subsystems for your computer. Printers, serial ports, and disk drives are all devices, but they usually don't need drivers. A mouse, on the other hand, is an example of a device that needs a driver. That is software to tell the computer how to control and read the information the mouse supplies to it. To load the driver, this is what you have to do. You have to get your text editor and go to your config.sys file. Okay? Then you can put in the different things in here. This is Chip's config.sys file, by the way. He has 20 buffers for data, 30 files he can have open at one time. He has the break command on. And down here he has a device equals C in the subdirectory of sys in the high-mem.sys file. Okay, these two lines go together. And these are the other things down here that are also loaded into high memory. As you see down here, it says device high equals C. That tells you that it's loaded up into the high memory. Down here, if you're running something under DOS 5.0, you will do your lines like this, where just device equals, okay, without the device high. All right. This is a little burnout program, that a screensaver program that after a certain number of minutes the screen will go blank and you won't burn out your pixels. Okay, the device drivers are usually found in the root or DOS directory, but with the advent of DOS 5.0 and many device drivers being loaded up into high memory and whatnot, it might be wise to put them in their own directory so that they're easily located. In this day and age, we're all aware of our environment, our work environment, our home environment, our Earth's environment. But did you also know that your computer has an environment? Well, it does. In fact, your computer can have many environments, a different environment for each program that you run. The environment of a program determines how the commands you give it are interpreted. A particular set of keystrokes may mean one thing in a particular environment, but may mean a totally different thing in another environment. I'm sure we've all tried to give a command from the last program that we were running into the present program that we're running, and then all of a sudden realized it doesn't work here. That's controlled by the environment. DOS has an environment also, and it stores data that's unique to your machine. DOS's environment can be manipulated with the right commands. And to find out what's in your computer's environment, you type the command set, S-E-T, and enter that, and it will tell you what is in there. So this is what's in Chip's environment right now. He's telling us that the ComSpec directory, or where to find the command file, is in the C root directory, and it's command com, as opposed to maybe you're running 4DOS. In other words, that would be read 4DOS if you were running that instead of Microsoft DOS. His path is very short. All he has in there is the DOS directory for his path. Okay, also in here we have a day, Tuesday, which is today, and the date, today's date. And down here we have a prompt, okay? Now, a lot of people just have a $P, $-G for their prompt. But in this case, we have a fairly long command here that puts the prompt in another color than the rest of the text. The default size of the environment is 160 bytes, but you can change that size by adding a line to your config sys file that reads like this. You would type in shell equals command space /e colon, and then you would enter in the number of the size of bytes that you want the file to be. We'll say 512 in this case. Then you would put a /p to make that change permanent. Well, I hope that gives you a little more information on your computer's environment. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks, Tim. I think next up, Jim Dilks with Bits and PCs.
Here are this week's computer trivia answers. Number 1. The first microprocessor chip was the Intel 4004. And number 2. Wayne Radcliffe designed the base 2.
Hello and welcome back. You know, I've noticed something. Chip kind of said B-base, and I had to clear my eye there for a second. It sounded like he was spitting on me.
Yeah,
We're going to have to work on him.
I think he has a problem with certain pronunciations.
I think so, too. And now, hopefully, Jim Dilks' pronunciation's a little better. Jim Dilks is on hand with Bits and PCs. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Randy and Rennie. Tonight we're going to be discussing the assign command. Let's say that, here we have our assign command, that you have just purchased a disk, and it wants you to, it has to be loaded in drive A. It came on a 3.5-inch floppy, and all you have in that mode is the B drive. Well, you can change your A drive to B drive, or, like we're going to do here, you can change your C drive to B drive. So if we hit return, the machine now reassigns the B drive to equal the C drive. And just to show you that that actually did occur, we're going to take a directory of B drive, and we come up with a directory on the A drive, or the C drive, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, in order to remove the assign command, go ahead and type in just the assign itself, and it will remove itself out of memory, and it reassigns it. Another way of doing this is you can also use the substitute command, and this will allow you to substitute a logical drive for a subdirectory. First, I'm going to build a subdirectory called Jim, and then we're going to substitute B colon for this drive. Now, if we take a directory of the drive, there is absolutely nothing in it because we have just created it. So this is the subdirectory. It says it's right now that it's B colon, but it's actually the subdirectory. Okay, now this command right here, substitute B colon / D, will remove the subdirectory, not the subdirectory, but remove the substitute from memory. Okay, next, we're going to, another thing you can do with the machine is you can take and join a logical drive, a subdirectory to a logical drive. Here we're going to take the subdirectory Jim and attach it to the B drive by using the join command. Now, we take a directory of Jim, it will now address the B drive. Okay, now the join command can also be removed from memory by using join B colon / D. And we'll remove it from memory. And I also want to remove the subdirectory that I've created. And that's all I have for this evening, gentlemen.
Very good.
Thanks, Jim.
Did you want this?
Yeah, you know, 3.5s that don't format well, you know, you've always wondered what to do with them. Most people just throw them in the trash. Well, they make wonderful coasters. Just keep that in mind. And they're only 39 cents, which is even better. Of course, this is Rainey's diskette. I wouldn't have done this with my own.
Thanks, Randy. After Chip brings you the PC Voyage address, Bob Clements will actually be here with questions and answers. With PC Voyage News, let's try it. Let's get the right one here. We'll be right back.
If you have any questions for Tim, or if you have any comments about the show, please write to us. Our address is PC Voyage, P.O. Box 6295, Holyoke, Massachusetts, 01041.
And remember now, if you send in a question, you're eligible to receive these 3 packages, possibly, if you're the lucky winner.
Or, which we've now had a new edition of, Microsoft Windows 3.1, along with Central Point PC Tools, X-Tree Gold, or a Prodigy Kit. So please, send us some questions. Tim's running desperate. I don't know if he can make up any more questions.
And now,
Better late than never.
better late than never himself is Bob Clements. Hi, Bob.
Hi, guys. The late-breaking news is that Rainey and Andy still have their jobs for another week. But Acculogic is offering Simply RAM, a line of microchannel architecture compatible memory expansion boards for PS2 computers. The boards allow users to install up to 32 megabytes of RAM for use in DOS, Windows, OS2, and other environments. The Simply RAM for the PS2 16 board is priced at $319. Works with 16-bit MCA-based PS2 systems and features built-in hardware support for expanded memory. The Simply RAM for the PS2 32 board costs $349. It supports 32-bit MCA-based PS2 systems. Comp USA has opened its first superstore in the Northeast. The 20,000 square foot outlet is located in the Boston suburb of Woburn, Mass. The nation's largest computer superstore retailer also plans to open a store near Providence, Rhode Island in a few weeks. In addition, several Comp USA outlets are scheduled to begin operating in the New York metropolitan area later this year. With the opening of its Boston superstore, Comp USA now operates 27 stores nationwide. All of the outlets offer over 5,000 products. Service and classroom training facilities are also provided. The extremely popular Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego computer game has spawned a TV show and a movie deal. Now it's moving into retro technology. Broderbund Software and University Games have signed an agreement to develop and market a Carmen Sandiego board game for kids ages 10 and up. It will sell for $19.99. The board game will bring the fun of chasing Carmen Sandiego to a whole new audience of families who don't happen to own computers, says Jeff Pinsker, University Games Marketing Director. Brother International has released a new laser printer. The HL10V offers an output rate of 10 pages per minute and a standard 300 dots per inch resolution. The printer emulates Hewlett-Packard's popular PCL5 language. It features 36 resident fonts, including 12 scalable and 24 bitmap fonts. The printer also offers IBM ProPrinter and Epson FX emulation. It prints up to 64 gray shades. Options include PostScript and AppleTalk support. The 1995 HL10V comes with no memory, but can accommodate up to 4 megabytes of RAM. Dell Computer has completed work on a pair of notebook PCs designed for cost-conscious users who need power for mainstream applications. The Dell system NL20 will join the firm's NL25 in its value series of general-purpose notebook computers. The unit features a 20 megahertz 386SL microprocessor. Based on the more powerful 25 megahertz 386SL microprocessor, the new Dell System 325N will become the company's least expensive, full-feature premium notebook computer. The PC incorporates a wide range of powerful technological and convenience features. The NL20 weighs 6.3 pounds, measures 8.3 by 11 by 1.8 inches. It comes standard with 2 megs of memory, expandable to 8, 40 megs or 60 meg hard drive, and a 1.4 floppy drive. Powered by rechargeable Nikon batteries, the NL20 can run continuously for about 2.5 hours. The NL20 is set to ship in June for about $1,599 with a 40 meg hard disk. And that's it, gang, for the news for tonight. See you guys next week.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for taking me.
And that's it. I'm Rainey Laviolette.
And I'm Andrew Doty.
See you next week.